Hello, Nomad Sculpt. This is a just for fun video. Let's recreate such a rapier, such a sword. Okay, there is on YouTube a other video from Leonardo, a good tutorial. You can compare the different workflows. He has a other workflow like me. Okay, let's start here. Let's recreate such a sword or such a rapier. And this is only the rough low poly version. For the details you can spend hours. And the yeah now I'm running out of words. Okay, let's start. Open a new scene. So in this scene I have the reference image in the background and I start with a cube. And this is no time-lapse video. This is a complete rapier. Okay, so sorry for the 176 users, I use this menu. I only use a division of here 1 and I turn the wireframe on. So I validate the box now. This is what we get. And here in the front view, I use the cell mask and mask here this point. And I use the gizmo to create the center of the sword. The sword, the rapier, sorry. Okay, now I can clear the mask. So this is our base. I lock the front view and I change the tool. I use now the lace tool with a pass option and also a fixed point here. So I create now the handle of the rapier. So I press the green dot, only a straight line. So we can turn the spline function off. And here you can go crazy like you want. So something like this. You can change the topology here and use a topology like this to stay low poly. And then you can validate this object. So with the gizmo we can adjust the scaling and the position. And here in the side view you can use here with the gizmo matrix and the gizmo settings move origin that the lace is centered. So here we got a problem. I think there was only front vertex active. So I use here the symmetry option and mirror it from the right to the left, or sorry, from the left to the right. So now I think it's okay, the object. It was my fault. So I use again the front view. I lock the front view and use again the lace tool with the pass option, but at the next step is not turn off fixed. Here draw a straight line like this, press the green dot, and now you have your new symmetry line and I turn off the spline function, move it with a gizmo a little bit in position, and edit the nodes here like this to create this handles here. I change the topology again, make it a little bit more low poly. So, and I can use the gizmo to adjust the object a little bit more. And it's possible to use the mirror here, then both sides are ready. Something like this. And I don't validate the objects. I use it like this. So select the cube in the center and create a clone. You can move it here and scale it a little bit like this. And in the solo view, you can use the cell mask. And now I check the filter, front vertex only. I turn it off. So I select here now this position, turn the solo view off. So I think it's okay. And I clear the mask. With a gizmo I can adjust it a little bit more. Okay. Next step is I'm adding a cylinder, and we can adjust the cylinder. We can use a hole in the center, and we can change the radius and create a circle band like this. And we change the topology here. The division's a little bit lower, and I use here 3 and a post subdivision of 1. So it's a little bit nicer like this. Okay, so here in the top view I activate the gizmo. At the left side there's the pivot function. We need a new pivot position here like this, and leave the pivot here. And I place now the object in a position so I use the snapping 90 degrees. This is the starting position, and I check here the size. It's correct, I think. And I turn the snapping off for the rotation. And now I go back and I create a clone of this, because we need it for the other ring here. I create a clone and I bring it here in this position, stretch it, so I can validate this object and trim it. Hole filling is active, and I use a rectangular tool to trim this. I try again. Symmetries of rectangular. No, it works. So, and back to the other ring here. So we need the gizmo and rotate it something like this here. And create a clone. Make the clone a little bit smaller. Other rotation here. And clone again. So, and use the gizmo to adjust the size. Something like this. Yeah, I think it could work. We can use a little bit more rotation. So in the hierarchy, we can select the 3 cylinders and add a mirror node. So yes, the original handle is a little bit more tricky and I don't have the time. You can do it with tubes. So I select this one and I change the pivot position and I create a clone, pivot, and bring the pivot here in this direction to this point. So leave the pivot and now you can rotate this in this position. So, and put this also in the mirror node. So then this is okay. Select the handle. You can use the split function. Rectangular, hole filling is on, and split the top here away. Then you get a single object. And the last step is here, select this part here. I turn the outline on and create a clone. So this clone, move it here. And use a cell mask. We can turn the symmetry off. So mask the center here and invert the mask and use the gizmo. You can now sharpen your blade. So something like this. You can use the clear mask function. Here in the front view, you can use the project tool with a line function and here project the top flat. So, and with a move brush or move tool, or you can, let's use the cell mask tool. It's more precise. Mask the top of the blade, make it a little bit sharper. Clear the mask and then split this object. Here you can use the split tool and hole filling off. Split the top here. Use the select tool, select all parts and join it. Now with the move symmetry on, we need the correct symmetry. We can adjust here the blade a little bit. So I think it's fine. So use the cell mask, mask the top. Sorry, adjust the size here a little bit. So this is correct. Stretch it a little bit. And now use the cell mask. Mask the top here. And scale your blade to the real length. And you can now clear the mask and bring the blade in position. So yeah, I think it's okay. We can make it a little bit more like this. Undo, redo. In the topology, here multi-resolution, you can use here the linear subdivision. Subdivide it one time and then turn it off and subdivide it without linear. So the sword looks a little bit nicer. Here you can select this part, and yeah, there are a few adjustments, but it's okay. Linear subdivision, subdivide it, turn it off, subdivide it again. Then everything is a little bit smoother. And here the same linear subdivision, turn it off and use it like this. Then you can select some parts here. Here this is the curves and the whole thing, and add a group. So we can give it a color. Something like this. So let's use the same color for this. So turn the wireframe off, outline off, view mode, add a light, post-processing on. And I think this is it's okay. Have fun with sculpting. Ciao.